We are standing in front of the remaining facade of Chorlton Town Hall. The bustle of student life on this key site in Manchester happens all around us, nevertheless without a notice of this important stomping grounds for Pan-African liberation. So, why Manchester? Going back in time to 1945, during a period post the devastation of the Second World War, when a new world order was emerging and imperialism was crumbling.
They tell us that this particular person or that particular country has greater or more favorable potentialities than the other. They do not tell us that we should unite, that we are all as good as we are able to make ourselves once we are free.
Well, they have every hope like any other citizen in Kenya. They will be protected just as any other citizen in Kenya is protected. Right to their own property. We have the Bill of Rights to protect every citizen in this country.
The black man of yesterday has disappeared from the stage of human activities forever. And in his place stands a new man, erect, conscious of his manhood and rights, and fully determined to preserve himself at all costs.
As a political campaigner, I have lived in Africa, the United States, the Caribbean, and Britain. There is a colour problem in Britain, and we demand that discrimination on account of race, creed, or colour be made a criminal offence by law. We, as delegates, believe in peace, having been the victims of violence and injustice. After the World War, black people were made to feel as though they didn't belong, despite the wartime efforts and contributions of many. We are suffering, and we must unite in order to confront the colour problem in Britain. We must unite to fight against imperialism and discrimination. Today we are joined by His Worship, the Lord Mayor of Manchester, Alderman Jackson, who has kindly consented to welcome all of the delegates who have gathered for this conference.
I was 24 and it was my first political event. The aims of the conference were freedom and self-expression. The people who took part in this came out with the aim of independence. Nkrumah in Ghana and Kenyatta in Kenya. Without the Pan-African Congress, the Africans would not have had their freedom. We woke everybody up.
I lived in Manchester when my friend Ras Makonnen wanted to organise the Congress. I wasn't involved in politics, but I helped open 2 restaurants for delegates to eat. The money earned by the restaurants that made it possible to fund and organise the Congress for October 1945. Before the Congress, some of the delegates wrote back that it was difficult for them to come and asked if we could help with the transportation. We sent some money to help people attend the conference from the money earned from the restaurants. We had hotels for them and we paid for everything. We never asked the nations, no heads of state, for anything. They were all freedom fighters and we provided them a place to eat. When the conference took place, the delegates who came spoke one by one at the first meeting. To begin, Makonnen charged them, as the purpose of this conference was to free Africa. We were charging the people to go back to their individual countries and start the revolution.
We have gone to the Forum Club, an entertainment venture of Makonnen's near the former Owens College or Manchester University. The club is situated in a beautiful building next to the college, further down Oxford Road. The element of music united those who visited this club, with performances by great calypsonians such as Lord Kitchener of Trinidad, who both performed here and also was employed by Makonnen for a period of time. Kitchener's music reminded many of home and of nostalgic times in the West Indies. Upstairs, Makonnen had an office which he used often to organize events for the African Service Bureau. Lord Kitchener joins him, and while Makonnen speaks liberalization and West Indian independence, Kitchener listens. Lord Kitchener became involved with the Pan-Africa movement and had recorded the song Africa My Home in 1952, a few years after the Congress. Back downstairs, we backtrack to the first day of the 5th Pan-African Congress, where an informal luncheon was held at the club for all of the delegates who would attend the week's discussions. This was on Sunday, October 14th, and after a dance was organized by the American Red Cross for the delegates, residents, and Black American servicemen. Makonnen hosts them at the club and other sites along Oxford Road, ensuring there's plenty of entertainment and food to go around. We are going down to the cellar of the Cosmopolitan. The Cosmopolitan is a restaurant, a place for the transnational community to gather and discuss ideas, struggles, and achievements. And it was one venture of Ras Makonnen's that contributed to the finances of the Congress. Here sits Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of independent Kenya, who sat many hours peeling potatoes for the dinner rush back in 1945. Eventually, the restaurant did so well that Jomo wasn't needed in the cellar. Jomo was good friends with Ras Makonnen, who was a Manchester-based entrepreneur whose business acumen helped jumpstart the 5th Pan-African Congress. Upstairs, on the restaurant walls, Makonnen commissioned art pieces that communicated anti-colonial ideas. His restaurant was a safe place for people of color to gather, without which the Congress would have failed to happen in Manchester. We are standing at the entrance of the Regal Twin Cinemas, where Makonnen's restaurant on the first floor of the Regal Twin Cinemas was named 7 stars. Famous celebrities such as Nat King Cole, who was set to perform at the Palace Theatre, and his daughter have eaten here. Ras Makonnen's employees hand out sandwiches early in the morning to those coming to work in the building. Makonnen's restaurants, such as the Cosmopolitan, were so successful that they moved up Oxford Road to populate this building. We are moving up the central stair decorated by Greek fret patterns to arrive at the waiting hall. Makonnen's restaurant, on the first floor of the Regal Twins next to the waiting hall, was named the 7 Stars. It served the community with American, British, and African cuisine. Many leaders of African independence movements have dined here, as well as students, industry men, families, activists, and women with small businesses of all backgrounds. The banquet hall could seat 150 people, and it was a key place for attendees to gather during the 5th Pan-African Congress in 1945, in a space that did not have a color bar and was open to all. We are now further down from the 7 Stars, at the intersection of Chester Street and Oxford Road. The Economist bookshop stood here once at 58 Oxford Road, a place that catered to the students at nearby Manchester University. We are now inside looking out to the street, where Ras Makonnen used to sell books to students which covered issues of race and Pan-Africanism, as well as subjects at the university. The money he raised from the bookshop helped fund his monthly publication, Pan-Africa, which he hoped would be a reflection of the everyday life and deeds of the African people. Moving to the back of the bookshop, we can see that his Pan-African service extended beyond a usual bookshop, with the Pan-African Federation headquartered here. The Economist worked as importers, exporters, publishers, booksellers, printers, and manufacturers to help fund Makonnen's efforts in organizing the 5th Pan-African Congress. Those who helped him included Dr. Peter Millard, president of the Pan-African Federation, as well as George Padmore, who acted as editor to the publication. Peter Abrams and Dina Stock also aided Makonnen as writers for the publication. Even Sylvia Pankhurst, who stood in solidarity with the Ethiopian cause, may have frequented this bookshop given her close associations with Makonnen and other freedom fighters. The Economist bookshop shows how Ras Makonnen's business acumen helped the Black community and political activists unite in 1945.